so much for rejoining us. It's still AM today on Osrc television, and of course, about 29 states will have governorship and state House of Assembly election come March the 11th, and the race this time in the political space is for those elections. How well political parties will perform, and of course, some say lessons have been learned from the February 25th presidential and national assembly election. What are some of the lessons that have been learned that perhaps will play out in this coming election, March 11th? But of course, of interest, particularly, is the Lagos state politics and what appears to be a change in dynamics, looking at the fact that attention appears to be on that state. The incumbent governor is seeking re-election. We also have two other frontline political parties in the Labour Party and the People's Democratic Party also trying to see that they clinch that particular top seat in Lagos State. This morning we're being joined by a social commentator, a public affairs analyst, Mr. Zadok Akintoye, to discuss the issue of the Lagos politics and the changing dynamics. Good morning, Mr. Zadok. Good to have you on the program.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here with you this morning.
I know you're having a bit of a smile to your face this morning.
We're talking Lagos State.
Okay, we're talking Lagos State.
Incidentally, I am from Lagos by birth, so it qualifies to be called my state of origin. It may not be the state of origin of my parents, but it is my own state of origin.
Perhaps so. You have a strong affinity with Lagos State.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's deep.
Of course.
My own state of origin, maybe not the state of origin of my parents.
That's another conversation
of
for
course,
another day.
Of course.
You know, there are also talks about what should be the state of origin of anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Is it where your parents are from or where you're actually given birth to? We'll leave that aside. We'll leave that aside. But let's talk about the politics in Lagos State and what is obtainable at this time. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu hoping to get a second-term nod from the electorate in Lagos State. But will we not be talking about this coming March 11th election if we do not take a peep backwards to the February 25th presidential poll, particularly with spotlight on Lagos State? The APC candidate, who is now the president-elect, who is, say, city boy, homeboy in Lagos State, did not get the majority of votes in that state. It lost to the Labour Party presidential candidate, and that appears to have also, raised so much dust, unsettling things heading into this particular election. What lessons do you think the APC or the Lagos politics has brought to fore here in Nigeria?
The question you have asked is quite simple on the surface, but it's deep, and 30 minutes will not be enough, because there's the historical perspective, there's the personality perspective in what is happening in Lagos State. There's also the issue of the desire to obtain power for whatever purposes by the multiple units that are fighting in Lagos. There's the ethnic perspective to this issue. But going back to February 25, I think that every political party, particularly the APC, has learned a lesson. And the lesson is in not disrespecting the goodwill you earn from the people. I think also that there's the collateral damage of what the current incumbent president, how he has led the country in the last 8 years, and that collateral damage automatically affects the candidates of the party. It also affects the party, the APC in this case. But I think going back to Lagos State as a unit, the outcome of last fortnight's election was indicative of the fact that there is a difference in the dynamics of election in Lagos. Lagos has probably the largest concentration of the middle and upper class in Nigeria within any state. Lagos has probably the largest concentration of very informed, highly mobile and financially independent citizenry in any state that do not have to depend on the patronage of government. Lagos also has a huge potpourri of different tribes who have different purposes and intents, who all thrive together as a sort of creating an homogeneous society even in their diversity. Lagos defines the beauty of Nigeria. And so what you saw in Lagos is the same validation, the protests of Nigerians against the incumbent administration in power. go back to Lagos State election, the Labour Party versus the candidate of the APC, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Don't forget that Tinubu has had to play the role of a scapegoat in this country, particularly with respect to his political party. He's borne the brunt of being the only governor that succeeded in 2003 and has been able to perpetuate himself in power against the fact that most of the other people that were privileged in 1999 to be governors have lost not just relevance, some of them have actually died. Most of them are no longer within the political space. A lot of them that are still alive as to G's of the former governor of Lagos State. And that is to the credit, that's a great credit to him. Because for you to obtain power and be able to perpetuate yourself, it either shows that you are at the top of your game, you are probably one of the smartest people in the country, and obviously such a position, such advantages will bring economic benefits. I think that there is a group of people in Lagos who disagree with the economic benefit that the gentleman has had, and that group is able to galvanize a lot of people against him as a person and then against his political party. Then the recent issue with the NSAS protest. It was a national issue, but Lagos was also made the scapegoat. It was a national issue. People were protesting against the federal police, but Lagos was made the scapegoat because, unfortunately, for the Lagos governor and the former governor, they are part and parcel of the government that was in power when the protest came. So they became automatic scapegoats. And so you would expect him to still bear some of the fallout, the liabilities of the fallout of that incident at that time. Unfortunately, communication from him and his aides during the period of the crisis was not such that helped citizens to feel, that this person is on our side. So he keeps continuing to bear that brunt of what happened.
Let's hit the nail on the head. The February 25th election has come, has gone, and gone. And, but in preparation for the March 11 election, focusing on Lagos State, do you really think Sanwo-Olu would also be a scapegoat in this matter?
Absolutely
or
not.
Lagosians would have reasons to rethink this trajectory?
Absolutely not. Look, a key part of the loss of APC in Lagos was because people disliked, largely not the Yorubas, but the other sub-ethnic nationalities in Lagos dislike what Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has become. He has become a scapegoat of our democracy. He has become that focal point against whom the people now have a reason to vent their anger. Tinubu is, I will classify him as one person who, while alive, is going to have to bear the brunt of all the misgovernance of Nigeria over the last 6 decades. Because he's a symbol of that Nigerian elite, that ruling elite that has succeeded and that are physically perpetuating themselves in power. So people find him as a living scapegoat. And I keep saying that it is important for us to note that national elections are different from local elections.
Very well.
The dynamics that made the APC to lose the election in Lagos will not absolutely determine who will win Lagos. Sanwo-Olu as an individual, remember when he came into office, there were a lot of issues against him. A lot of challenges against him, but you can't gainsay the fact that the gentleman has succeeded in Lagos State. Lagos is very complex. And for you to have anybody coming to lead Lagos State, that person must have been part of the governance structure of Lagos State over time. Otherwise, when you bring in a new person who is not part of that governance structure, you will find that that person will scatter a lot of things. So when Sanwo-Olu came into power, even against the fact that people were speaking about his mental issues, allegedly, the gentleman has proven himself very, very capable to lead Lagos State. So I see a lot of Lagosians looking more at his personality rather than the personality of his superior.
But there are also other persons in this game, in this context, so to say. You find the popular Jendol of the PDP.
Yes.
You also find that this Badebo Vivo of the Labour Party. And These ethnic, tribalistic sentiments and what many have also called a peep into what will be the potential of these candidates. How well will this speak for those, at least those three candidates? Who do you think would really be able to convince the electorate better in Lagos?
I can tell you for a fact that the current governor will win re-election. I can tell you that the Labour Party will most likely come second, and I will tell you that the PDP will come a distant third.
Is that coming from the heart of the prophet Zadok?
No, it's coming from my heart as both a participant in the process and somebody who's had the opportunity to see the preparation of most of these sites. Now, let's look at the PDP. The candidate of the PDP, who was until recently a member of the APC, came to the PDP and won the ticket of the PDP. Now, against the fact that there were aboriginal PDP members in Lagos State that have been there, that have, if I may say, that have not succeeded to win election in Lagos State, that have been largely compromised by the system in Lagos State, because that's politics. And so this gentleman came into the PDP from the APC and won the ticket of the PDP. But he forgot something, which is that when you belong to a system is not classified as an individual. A system is a potpourri of individuals, a conglomeration of people. But this person came into the PDP, won the ticket of the PDP, and did not adequately take into cognizance the culture, custom of the party he was winning the ticket of. When he came to the point where he needed to choose a governorship candidate, deputy governorship candidate, it was almost unilateral. I take you back to what happened in Ondo State in 2020, when the PDP had Ita Jegede as a candidate. Against the culture that power should go to the south, he won that election free and fair. But when it came to the point where he needed to respect the culture, because you see, the way politics is that when we win power, you are the person that, we use you as the candidate of the party, but you are not the only person winning power. We are all co-candidates. So you need to have a way of carrying everybody along in anything that is political. When he became the governorship candidate of the party, against the norm, he picked his deputy governorship candidate from somebody he preferred, who was his team member. He lost that election from the point where he had picked that gentleman. In the same way, Jandor had picked somebody who is not, Funke Akindele had not been a member of the PDP. She had not done anything in the PDP. She has not suffered. She has not been in the trenches working for the PDP. And then you went and picked her instead of allowing the system, you coming from APC freshly, you've picked the candidacy of the party. Allow the others to pick the deputy governorship candidate, because it's about power and that it is going to be used in the future. He picked Funke Akindele. From the day he picked Funke Akindele, it was automatic that they were going to lose the election. Let's take it back.
But if Funke Akindele has the...
It's not popular. It's not so. It's not generic. It's not organic. What she has is assumed. Look at Atiku Abubakar of the PDP at the national level. He won the ticket having come back from the APC. As against the fact that there were people working in the PDP, people like Governor Nyesom Wike, who had worked tirelessly to keep the party together. Now you won the ticket of the party. You are already the presidential candidate of the party. The next most sensible thing is to cede the choice of your deputy governor, your vice presidential candidate to the party. Because that will create a sense that we are going to win power, but there's an inclusion of multiple interests. And in politics, if you don't have inclusion, you are going to lose. So the day he picked Okowa, it became automatic that they were going to lose. Even as against the advice, I've told you 3 instances now. Lagos State, Ondo State, and the national. At the Ondo State level, there were advice to the candidate of the party that this is institutionally wrong. But he didn't listen. He waited until the die minute to pick his subordinate as the deputy governorship candidate. From that day, every other thing was a waste of time, because the people were not going to allow him to win. And that's why you saw what happened in the election. It was easy for you to lose the support of your internal customers, which are members of your party, who feel that in the event that you have power, they will have to walk so many corridors before they can access opportunities. And in politics, you need to get everybody to believe that when this power comes, it's going to be shared. You understand? That's why I doubt if the PDP will come close in Lagos State. I can tell you for a fact that they will come third. I can tell you that the Labour Party will come second. Why? Because the Labour Party in Lagos has a system that is anti the system in Lagos. A lot of otherwise politically inactive activists have now gained this interest in just changing whosoever is in power in Lagos State because they want to obtain that power. Is that power, if obtained, going to be used for the good of Lagos State? I think it is dangerous to do that at this time, considering the complexity of Lagos. Go to the APC. Sanwo-Olu has, largely managed himself very well in terms of being, a culturally adept person, a cosmopolitan-minded person in terms of how he relates with Lagos. With Lagosians, and so that may work for him. So for me, I call it APC, Labour Party, and then the PDP.
But the APC, the All Progressives Congress in Lagos State, also appears not to be taking this as a walk in the park.
Yes,
you put a lot of analysis behind all of your reasons for saying the APC